Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck. I'm a communications and parenting expert, and I teach all things related to self-government. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to set limits with your strong-willed child. In this video, we're going to understand the strong-willed child a little bit more, and then I'm going to share with you 4 things you can do to set limits for your strong-willed child. All right, let's understand strong-willed people for a minute. I am a strong-willed person, so I definitely understand what makes them tick. In fact, I could be very oppositional if I wanted to, but I choose not to because I understand my potential as a strong-willed person, and that's really important for us to share with our children. What is their potential? Do they even know their full potential as a strong-willed child? We've got to make sure that they know that strong-willed people can do great things, but they have to be able to decide when they will control. See, a strong-willed person at first just starts controlling everything and everybody. In fact, they think that the best way to control is to control everything extrinsically. But really, the strong-willed person gains their greatest strength by controlling the person within. So it's that intrinsic control that actually makes a big adjustment in their ability to lead and influence other people for good. Now, I hope that you're also processing this as a possible strong-willed parent, because I do know that strong-willed children don't usually fall too far from the tree of the strong-willed parent. For a person to reach that full potential as a strong-willed person, they've got to understand their limits. So when do you turn that strong-willed thing on in society and with other people? And when do you not? And when do you focus on yourself primarily? That's what our limits teach us. So let's talk about setting these limits now and see how we can help our strong-willed child. The first thing that a strong-willed child needs as far as limits is to understand who the leader is. That's important because they see themselves as somebody that is in charge or at least has a ton to offer. Even if they know maybe that the parent is supposed to be over them, they see themselves as somehow not fully understood. They see more things than the other people around them perhaps, or they have a lot of ideas that they want to share. In fact, they feel like that they should share. Sometimes they feel like if they don't have a certain amount of control over that environment or a certain amount of control over the conversation that happens, that something is going wrong. In fact, it feels uncomfortable to them sometimes. So they need to know who the leader is. Well, who is the leader? The leader is you, if you're the parent. They need to understand parental authority. There's actually a book I've written all about this called Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success. And it talks about the parental authority and how understanding the parental authority sets the whole family free. But also understanding the role of the child. They need to know who they are in the family and how to magnify that person that they are becoming. And sometimes just following through on that strong-willed tendency to be oppositional does not really help them fulfill their role. In fact, sometimes it holds them back. The second thing, and this is probably the thing that people focus on the most as they watch my videos about strong-willed children, which there are many on this channel, you could find more if you would like to go looking, is the skills. Strong-willed people need skills because if not, they just start pushing to try to get things in a place where they feel like they have enough control or that they're understood enough. But if they have skills, they don't have to push so hard. They can just use their skills. And if everyone knows the skills, then there is this element of comfort that comes with being understood. So there are 4 basic skills that we teach children in our family. And even though these books look like they're for young children, these skills actually are for all ages. Even the parents need these skills. So this book, London LaRae Says Okay, teaches how to follow instructions. That's a 5-step process. You look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, do the task immediately, and then check back. A person needs to be able to do all 5 of those steps in order to be following instructions. The green book, Porter Earns a Quarter, teaches how to accept no answers and criticism. This blue book, Big Win for Quinn, teaches how to accept consequences. And this purple book, Paige Takes the Stage, teaches how to disagree appropriately, which is usually their favorite skill. And by the way, is a wonderful skill for strong-willed people because it gives them a voice. They disengage that emotional, engage the logical prefrontal cortex as they're seeking to understand another person and then sharing their point of view in a very respectful respectful way that honors the roles, and those children absolutely have an understanding of the other side and a change of heart in the process of being understood. The strong-willed child loves to have something to say. They'd love to know that they're understood. They just need the skill to make sure that it's done right. What are some of the boundaries that your strong-willed child crosses over? Are there certain things that they repeatedly do? Put them in the chat, and then I'll take some time and try to answer your questions individually there. Number 3. The strong-willed child needs consistency. Consistent correction and consistent praise. In fact, we all need that. But especially the strong-willed child needs to know that they will be corrected at the same point every time. If they're going to set their own limits, there has to be a predictable end result. In fact, strong-willed children really thrive with predictable parenting. So if you're making it up all the time as you go, then they're going to be trying to power struggle with you all the time. But what if you just had a plan? So this book, Parenting a House United by, me, actually provides the plan that I used to help troubled teens, all between the ages of 12 to 18, that came to my home for treatment foster care, and how I raised my 4 children to adulthood, learning how to be self-governed. And I've got to tell you what, I never had a foster child or a child of my own that wasn't strong-willed. But they all learned to use that power for good and to control themselves so that they could feel empowered instead of trying to control everybody else around them. Why? Because they recognized, because of our predictable parenting, that there were stopping places. There were places where things absolutely would be corrected. A parent that's afraid to correct is going to have a hard time setting any kind of a limit that a strong-willed child can hold on to. Number 4 is meetings. Also in this book and in my Teaching Self-Government Parenting course, I go into great detail about how to set up meetings for the family so that the children and the parents are held accountable. So if you're going to set up limits like you need to use these skills and we will correct you this way in this consistent method, there has to be a way to check up on how the child is doing and how you're doing too. So we have 3 different meetings in our family. We have couples meetings, family meetings, and individual mentor meetings that we have with the children to help them plan for their communication success as well as their other goals in academics and social and other areas of their life. We also discuss as a family in our family meeting every week how we are doing as a group uniting and how we're doing at working on our skills and maybe ways that we can improve. So you need to have a time of accountability. Those meetings are vital for helping your strong-willed child know and remember the limits that you're setting. Setting limits for anyone is possible, even strong-willed children. I know because I've worked with so many strong-willed children, and you know what? They find peace and happiness knowing where they are going to stop. In fact, did you know that's what they're looking for? That's what they want you to show them. They want you to show them this is the stopping place. We don't go past here. And this is also the skill you need to be successful in everything. If you give them the truths, if you give them the tools, they will use them. They will use that strong will to use those things. This is just the tiniest bit of learning self-government. In fact, when I teach people self-government, it's a 3-day process at a live training, or they take my online course, which has 20 hours of content. I hope that you will learn more about self-government because it's going to help you find even more peace and answers as you're working with those strong-willed children. If you've enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you'll like the next one, which is called The Expectation Trap versus the Cycle for Success. If you feel like you're getting trapped some days in emotions, that video is going to be just the one for you. Click on that link now and I'll see you there.